Hey co-stars, welcome to another episode of Generation Films. My name is British Ben, and a few days ago, a third, more complete trailer for Star Trek Picard Season 2 comes out, and we get basically a full idea of the plot and also some of the minor details. Like for example, 7 of 9 has now passed her driving test.
You can pilot a starship, but you can't drive.
Q has developed a dislike for swearing.
I am way too old for your bullshit.
And Starfleet fashion has changed. We've had red shirts, mustard shirts, and now we have black shirts. Black shirts. Where have I heard that before? Editor, add some photos in if you find anything. It really is a cool sounding name. Maybe there's something from history or I can't think of anything. Anyway, in this video, we are going to go through the Star Trek Picard Season 2 trailer and talk about the plot and any Easter eggs we find in it. So in the first shot, we see Hong Kong, and we know it is a future Hong Kong because there are shuttles flying in the air. We then have Picard visiting somewhere where he went as a child and picking up what looks like a broken piece of stained glass. We have a couple of fighting shots that are obviously in the 21st century because of the clothing, and then we see Q doing his iconic finger click. And that finger click, it's kind of Q's signature move. We've seen it a lot back in The Next Generation.
Good fortune.
Moving into the main part of the trailer, we then have a voiceover. Now, I originally thought this was the voice of Deanna Troi, but apparently it is Laris, played by Orla Brady, and she says, "I always saw you as a man who chose the stars."
But after all this time, I've come to wonder, have you been seeking or running?
Now this is also over footage of Picard in the same glass house environment with a flashback of him there as a boy. So it hints to us that Season 2 will include Picard digging up and facing some demons from his childhood. Basically the idea being that he joined Starfleet in the first place to get away from something on Earth. Then we go straight into John Delancey's Q telling Picard,
The trial never ends.
the idea being that Q is putting humanity on trial, which was basically the theme throughout the entire series of The Next Generation. Every time Q showed up, he would be testing Picard and the Enterprise crew as representatives of humanity. Now he's wearing this emblem with 8 circles, which I tried to find out what it is, but I couldn't find anything. It could be nothing, although it looks like the reactor in one of the next shots. That could just be a coincidence. We then see an explosion in future Hong Kong. And then we cut to Captain Rios wearing a Starfleet badge, which indicates that him and his crew are now part of Starfleet in some way. And he says, "We have big problems. Something moved us." And this is presumably the point where Q or some other force arranged by Q does something to the ship, and Picard spells it out in the next scene.
Q went back in time and turned our world into a totalitarian nightmare.
Oh look, it's the First Order. Great, another sci-fi show set in a dystopian future. And that's one of the things that Seth MacFarlane said that he was sick of when he created the Orville as an alternative to Star Trek Discovery. But anyway, now there is a little detail on the comm badges here, and I'll give a little shout out to the Trek Culture YouTube channel for discovering this. But they are very reminiscent of the comm badges in the episode of The Next Generation, Future Imperfect. The bars in that episode represented the rank, so the captain would have 4 and an ensign would have just 1. But they were behind the delta, not in front of it. Now in that episode, Riker gets trapped in a sort of alternate reality future where the Federation and the Romulans have signed a peace treaty and they're now allies, but in the end they discover that this is just a simulation created by this alien who just wants Riker to keep him company and be a friend or a father figure. Although Picard Season 2 may have nothing to do with that episode whatsoever, but at minimum it's a cool Easter egg, and perhaps it's a hint that in this dystopian future created by Q, the Federation and the Romulans are now allied like they were in that episode. Next, Picard, now a black shirt, says this.
The only way to heal our future is to go back and repair the past.
And to do this, they need to wake up a Borg queen. Now, if you've seen the movie First Contact, you will know that the Borg have a method of time travel.
Sensors show chronometric particles emanating from the sphere.
They're creating a temporal vortex.
Time travel.
So presumably that's why they are waking up a Borg Queen to get the time travel technology, and it's kind of fitting because didn't Q introduce the Borg to Picard and the Enterprise crew in the first place, so it kind of fits as part of his trial. But wait a minute, who is this Borg Queen? Didn't the Borg Queen die in First Contact? And then again in Voyager? There were multiple Borg Queens. The first two were supposedly identical, probably clones, but if one died, they could just create a new one. They've given the Borg Queen a bit of a new look in Picard. Personally, I really like the black eyes, and this time she will be played by Annie Washing. So anyway, the Borg Queen teaches them how to create a temporal vortex, and they travel back in time. And they arrive at 21st century Earth in LA, conveniently located within the 30-mile zone, or TMZ, where Paramount can pay local rates to its employees. I'm sure there's a storytelling element to that as well, though. We then have some shots of the team carrying out their mission in the 21st century. I really hope they give some nods to Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, where the original cast go back in time to the 80s. Like, can the ship land cloaked in a park? Then Picard states this.
We have 3 days before the future is changed irrevocably.
We see Q with this Europa badge. Now, I'm not sure what that means. Is it some 21st century organization that Q has infiltrated? Let me know in the comments if you know. We see this shot of the Borg Queen getting pretty close to Jurati. Now, if she is a prisoner on Rios' ship, and it looks like she is because we see a force field around her in some shots, it makes sense that she would be trying to find a way out by manipulating the crew, just like she did with Data in First Contact. But I really hope they don't try to introduce some kind of lesbian Borg Queen that has the hots for Jurati and tries to pull the same thing with her that she pulled with Data in First Contact. That would just be cheesy. But you know, with Alex Kurtzman at the helm, you never know. We also see Soji in the trailer standing next to a pool by the ocean. Looks like she's done well for herself, but it's unclear what time period this is in, since in theory she shouldn't be in the 21st century. Then we have a shot of Picard looking like he's been arrested. You can see cuffs on the table. I really hope they bring in flavors of Star Trek 4 here, like when Chekhov gets captured by the 20th century US military. We also see Elnor looking like he's been injured, possibly during this fight at an unknown location, but from the color of the control panels here, I'm guessing this is either a Romulan facility or this is Borg technology, because both of them use the color green. And then the trailer ends with Picard saying this.
Even in the darkest of circumstances, there is a light.
So guys, there is my breakdown of the trailer and what is going to happen in season 2. Q creates a dystopian future, they wake up a Borg Queen to acquire time travel technology, go back in time to LA in the 30-mile zone so Paramount can pay local rates to its employees working on the series. Somehow Soji is involved, there may be a live Borg Queen on board the ship, and they have 3 days to save Earth. Leave your comments below. What do you think of it? I'd love to know. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.